Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Just Another Kill Team podcast, connecting Kill Team communities across the globe. If you're passionate about the tactical skirmish game that brings together strategy, lore, and creativity, you are in the right place. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and stay updated with our latest episodes. If you want to support the show, check out our Patreon. Your support means a lot to us. Follow us by using the social media links in the podcast description for all the latest news, and be sure to leave a review to let us know what you think. Thanks for tuning in. Here's today's episode. You guys, welcome to Dead Silence. For all of the ex-Phobos players, there are two wolves inside of you. One of them is a wolf and one of them is a fish.
Excuse me, I'm the fish. I'm the fish as the Tau player. Don't take that from me.
Yep. So Dead Silence. We've got Wolf Scouts and we've got Stealth Suits. Both of these teams look super cool.
That's true. I'm very excited to play Elite Tau and blow people up with my Accurate 3 fusion guns, which is totally fair. Everyone knows that fusion guns with Accurate 3 is totally fair.
By the time you get Accurate 3 on your fusion gun, they were really asking for it.
Yeah, and I am super excited for the Wolf Scouts. I am the wolf part of the fish. Oh, wait, no, there's two. I am the wolf part. Fish. Travis is the fish. This is going to be one of the coolest boxes. We kind of talked about it earlier. If you like Phobos, you either can play Incursors as the Stealth Suits, or you can play Reavers as the Wolf Scouts.
And if you want Infiltrators, go play Deathwatch. Also, for anyone that doesn't know, the voice that you heard before me is Pierce. Also, for anyone that's new, I'm Jason.
It's Travis, of course, the third head, and Pierce is new on the podcast, and he's been working on the background, doing some of the PowerPoints, some of the other stuff, and doing the Minnesota battle reports with Jason.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I've just been lucky enough to learn a lot and play this game with Jason, and he pulled me in and let me take part in this awesome adventure.
So, first things first, how are we feeling about Dead Silence? I know, Pierce, you mentioned that it's a great deal, and especially with the prices for the new Deathwatch boxes, perhaps one of the better deals in recent memories.
Yeah, I mean, Dead Silence looks super, super sick. It's a little bit of a bummer. We only get 5 bodies and a dog, and then what is it? Is it 5 or 6 bodies on the Stealth Suits?
Yeah, for anyone who's not in the know, both teams are 5 main operatives at 3 APL plus some extra dorks. There's a 2 APL wolf, and everyone knows there's no wolves on Fenris. And then you get 2 friendly 2 APL drones for the Tau, and they both have 1 APL for control, unless you use your strategic gambit, and then one of your drones is just a little dude that's 2 APL and can do mission actions. Almost a callback to the little Pathfinders back in the day.
And there's 5 Stealth Suits on the sprue, right?
It is exactly 5 of both things on each sprue, plus enough for the bonus helpers. So if you want to have some of the extra guys, although, realistically, this is not one of the boxes where you're going to really be missing all that much unless you are a Tau player that wants to be able to magnetize every single thing, or you don't want to magnetize, then you need a lot of fusion guns. But the Tau definitely are, as far as modeling goes, you pick up a couple of magnets, not too hard to do the magnetization on the fusion guns. I personally didn't do them, but if I really need to, I'll snap them off and put the magnets in.
Yeah, because you can just choose a loadout and stick with it. And you probably don't really need infiltrators very often, and you can probably get away completely with no infiltrators, especially if you're playing casually.
Yeah, and I think looking at the prices now with Deathwatch getting released as a standalone box, when you look at this, getting 2 teams for what would cost you, it'd be less than getting an actual full team of Deathwatch, is pretty good value. Now seeing the prices after the Deathwatch box came out, like the terrain being 165, the whole box being 250. So just the Tomb World terrain alone being 165. We got some pretty good value when it came to the Tomb World box. And then looking at Dead Silence, I think, again, 2 teams for $100. Most people can get it for at their LGS.
Yeah, and no one here has really read through the narrative stuff all that much, so honestly, we're not going to review that part. We're just here for the sweaty, nerdy, competitive stuff. We're here to trap people with Accurate 3 burst cannons and fusions and sit people inside of a blizzard and watch them struggle with their -1 attack dice because, let's go over the high points, and I think Wolf Scouts are an easy one. Well, for the 2 Marine players in the room, how are we feeling about the high points on the team?
I think Wolf Scouts are going to be Warp Coven level good. They're just gonna, to be fair, Warp Coven has always been really good, but I think it's been like overhyped. I think Wolf Scouts are going to be insanely good. People are going to be screaming about it, but you can still beat them.
Yeah, I think the drawbacks on the team, obviously, lots of plasma pistols, so double shooting, not a huge thing, but they do have 2 operatives that absolutely clap when it comes to shooting, when you have the Frost Eye and the Fang Bear. I think right out of the box, it's going to be tough for people, but I think they're going to end up being maybe not like Canoptic Deathwatch level of difficult, but they're going to be a top-tier team for sure.
They say this, but they're underselling the plasma pistol crack grenade shots.
You can do that, but the trouble is, what equipment do you drop to take the crack grenades? And the crack grenades just hit on 4s with no rerolls.
Right, and the team really struggles when it comes to shooting rerolls. You pretty much have access to one thing, the Touch of Lokir. You have to be 5 inches away from other people. It gives you Relentless, but that's about it when it comes to shooting rerolls. They want to charge from conceal, sneak up on you, stab you to death, and then bring that dog in to protect you when you need it.
Yeah, so 5+1 operatives. The Wolf Scouts are definitely a more melee-centric team. A lot of their ploys care about keeping you in melee, being in the storm, -1 attack dice for your opponents. So for all the melee teams that struggled against Sanctifiers, good luck with losing one whole attack with a 13 wound elite team that also has a medic.
And the leaders self-medics, and they deal more damage when they fight or retaliate and don't die. Absolutely savage.
Yeah, the highlights for me, just in general, the Fang Bear, absolute MVP, gives you, no fear, and then ignore shock and stun on the whole team, the whole game, even when he dies. And then he can come in and heal you for a D3+3 on top of that. Bonkers. And then he doesn't just have a regular bolt pistol. He's got the Absolver bolt pistol with a 9-inch range, 4 or 5 damage, and piercing crits 1. He is probably going to end up being your MVP a lot of the games just because of the different things he can do for your team.
Yeah, because he doesn't cost an extra APL to do the extra shot, so he can just run around, heal people, shoot people. Having a crack grenade on demand, famously, very fair. Everyone loves fighting against crack grenades. And the breakpoints for all the melee are quite good, because you, in the storm, which is a 6-inch bubble from your storm token that you can place at any point during a strategic gambit, and you pick anywhere on the map and the storm suddenly reappears. There's no movement stuff like the Canoptic Circle where you're dragging stuff around. You pick a spot. It's a 12-inch diameter bubble that just is there, and all of your operatives key off of this massive storm bubble. And the big one is going to be the Tempestus or Storm's Bite. Storm's Bite, which is if your opponent's in the storm, they lose 1 attack to a minimum of 3. Which, when you're fighting against mostly 5 attack operatives, is gonna suck. Yeah. So as far as the anti-melee skew, the old Goremongers matchup where you're like, oh, I'm going to lose half damage in my first combat step. It's basically like losing an attack. Well, what if you just didn't have that attack at all? That seems totally fair. To be fair, there's only 6 of them, so they're not quite as many operatives as Goremongers, but with 13 wounds, no injury, ignoring shock, ignoring stun, they're probably going to feel a little gross.
Yeah, for sure. And just, pulling into that too, if you charge them and try to hide in combat, firefight ploy, they can fight you for free right after you charge them. So there's no really hiding in melee with them. They are going to be coming at you with essentially mini power swords once you use frost weapons. They're going to have lethal 5 up on everything, and the leader gets lethal 4 up. So even when you think you're going to be safe with them in the storm, hiding there to try to lock somebody up, it's not going to be good.
There's a very interesting scenario where, let's say I'm playing Deathwatch and I charge you with the Blade Master, and I fight you with my 4 attacks, and let's say we chop each other both down to 1 hit, and you're going to fight me again and kill me, but then the Space Wolf does counterattack and kills you first in your own activation. Yeah,
they are just... outside of how awesome they are, just the theme of the team too. I think GW really knocked out of the park with the naming of the abilities, the abilities themselves. I think the dog offers such awesome utility. Just being able during the strategy phase to either charge, fallback, or reposition. So think of it as maybe like a mini Omni Scrabble. Jason kind of said that. You think you're going to get shot by a Melta. Casterkin sees the initiative. All of a sudden, boom, you charge your dog into him, and you're like, well, what are you going to do now? Because you can't just melt a my Fang Bearer or my pack leader.
Yeah, a hyper elite Phobos team that skips an operative to get a operative as an Omni Scramble. That's kind of the way it looked when we first looked at the team. Just the strat gambit play of suddenly my 9 wound wolf with a 5-up armor save, so it's not really living through all that much, but it's still got 5 attacks. It's still got rending. 5 on 3s, 4/5 rending, pretty solid, and can't do anything just like most dogs, but can definitely get in your opponent's way, definitely launch itself into your opponent's lines, but it doesn't have an oval base, and for everyone who doesn't know how oval bases work, we don't know how it works because there's no rules for oval bases. At Worlds, it's getting ruled similar to how Age of Sigmar is ruling, so there's basically a big bubble, but make sure to check with your local TO because oval bases, very confusing, famously.
Yeah, I mean, so the first impression, is it just anywhere, if you want to move 6 inches, or 7 inches in this case, you just move, or 8 inches because it's the dog, can you just move 8 inches and then rotate it any way that you want? Or does, I don't know.
So in Age of Sigmar, you measure the first gigantic bubble with the oval, and then nothing can touch the outer edge of that bubble on your base. So nothing can extend. So no free pivots. But within that bubble, you can kind of do a bunch of pivots. There's definitely a lot of wiggliness around it, and that's just how it's getting ruled at Worlds, but it's not very well settled. Obviously in 40K, they have the pivot rules because if you get a big enough oval base, suddenly you can swing out an extra 2 inches. We'll see what happens. There's no defined rules for it. As far as the operatives go, we've already mentioned the Hunter, the default character, probably not very useful. He's got a spread of things. He can do some stuff, but that's really not what we're here for. The leader, he's got the old Thane ability from Hearthkin, where he comes back to life once. So he stays at 1 wound. So even if you think you got him, he'll come back at 1 wound and then shoot you back. Pretty gross. Counterattack, yeah. There's lots of different choices. And at 14 wounds with the power weapon, it's going to be pretty hard to kill. And you get to reroll initiative as long as he's alive, which is also rude.
Yeah, just thinking about the different things. So, Storm's Bite lets you do the D3+1, I believe, after a fight attack or retaliation.
Savage Fighters.
Savage Fighters, thank you. It's a D3+1 if aren't incapacitated after a fight retaliate. So you charge the pack leader. He does a D3+, you kill him. He comes back on 1, does a D3+1 to you, and then counterattacks. That can set up some pretty nasty combos.
Don't fight that guy.
It's almost like they were designed to be shot at first.
I think so.
Yeah. And, depending on who you shoot first, maybe there's just going to be a fusion gun. And none of the math matters. Because Pierce 2 with 6/7, 4 attacks on 4s, accurate 3, you could probably kill a 13 wound model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going into this new metagame with the Wolf Scouts and the Stealth Suits. What sort of teams do you feel like the Wolf Scouts are going to do well into? Which teams are you guys worried about them not doing well into? Because obviously, where they sit within the metagame as far as like tiering is kind of there will be other groups, you can go to Command Point, you can go to any of the other channels to talk about tier lists. But as far as what matchups you are worried about versus not worried about, where are you guys at? Are you guys worried about Horde teams, the hyper elites?
I think they're fully top of the pack and there's no one that's scary for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in that same mind with it being able to charge from conceal. Starting in the storm or ending in the storm keeps you pretty safe and forces the other teams to come to you. Having the dog as kind of a backup when things like look really bad for you to kind of save you when you miss position or something like that. I see Horde teams giving it a problem, but I think in the same way that it gives like Deathwatch an issue, where you just playing the crit ops now, you do need to be able to get on the points and do mission actions. So they will struggle in that aspect. Like, I think orb is like an auto lose for a lot of these teams. When the other team's smart enough, they just tap the orb at the end of the turn where you can't do anything about it to get it away from you to score points. So they'll struggle in that aspect, but having the dog to give them 6 operatives total is a huge benefit that I think will put them over like a Deathwatch team, where even Deathwatch's best melee guys are going to just struggle trying to fight anyone on the Wolf team.
Yeah, that seems fair. It's obviously, we're in a spot where most of the Horde teams are not seeing a ton of play. You got a couple Brood Brothers. Sanctifiers are ostensibly, Horde-ish because they have a couple extra wounds floating on the top. But they're approaching metagame that's pretty friendly to them. They'll definitely beat most of the elf teams because I can't imagine a 3-attack elf in melee crushing it,
Especially with the 13 wounds, just ruins the power sword completely.
Yep. Yeah, the power sword can't two-shot anything, so it's always going to be rough. So they're always looking for like a shoot charge fight, which is obviously much easier to avoid. The TAC op spread, they are a recon and seek and destroy team, so they've got a lot of flexibility there. Recon ends up being, okay. You can do some stuff, and then you can definitely route because you're definitely a melee focused team. So sending a dog in on strat gamut and then just murdering someone, getting a free route point doesn't seem so bad.
I like flank. I'm just thinking about that. Like, you can do everything you want to do with the team and never flip to engage, I think, for the most part. So you can work your way on the field, and even if you have to flip to engage, you just make it your last operative that goes, and then on counteract, you flip to conceal. So you just have so much flexibility to even play the tack ups that you want to. And even taking dominate, you just let your gunner pick people off and then hide. I mean, you can rack up some points in the back line, weakening some guys. And then if you need to pick someone off, you have an awesome plasma gun to shoot.
And you could even shoot with a plasma pistol, charge, and then fight or not. And you're hiding in melee. And then on your counteract, flip to conceal, kill the hostage that you took, and you're safe.
Yeah, there's just... This team is so awesome, and I love Space Wolves. We've talked about it, and in our video that we do, my Phobos are painted as Space Wolves. I have a ton of Space Wolves at home. When I was a little kid, me and my mom would sit at the kitchen table and paint my Marines Space Wolves, so this just hits everything for me. I mean, I've only been playing the game for 9 months, and there couldn't be a better team that got released for to tickle all my fancies.
Yeah, somehow we've skirted over the acute senses of the Wolf Boys, who are able to just pull out a Seek Light on demand that it ignores obscurity. So there's really nowhere that's particularly safe against them.
Yeah, I think we're going to need to enjoy all this stuff for the first couple months, because I think there's going to be probably a couple changes.
You get 3 months. That's the Games Workshop guarantee. In the first 3 months, they won't touch you that hard, because obviously we're at Worlds right now. Canoptek Circle and Deathwatch are pretty much at the height of their power, and they're probably only going to get a little bit worse over time from here, but obviously very strong. When these come out, they're going to be wherever they are. I don't think the Tau are going to look nearly as good. We'll go over the rules over here in a little bit, but I'm pretty sure the stealth suits will be the safer team if they are not more annoying to play against. Because I got to say, if you set it up in the maze, your opponent really is not going to do all that much for 2 turns. And then once they do, you're just shoot them with accurate 2.
Yeah, I think the weird thing about this box is the stuff that the Wolves do really well really mess with the stealth suits. So being able to just run up the field on conceal and charge you and kill you, because the melee for the stealth suits is not that great. So it's weird in that aspect, but the shooting from the stealth suits is worlds better than the Wolves can provide, even though the Wolves provide some pretty awesome shooting. So it's kind of a cool dichotomy between the two teams where you're getting 2 pretty different flavors.
Yeah, I just feel like the stealth suits don't have enough shooting, because it's the burst cannons are pretty good, and the fusion guns are almost good enough. You only have 2 of them, and they can't double shoot, and they hit on 4s. So you really need that accurate. So it's kind of like, if you do just run them down, that's the best way to bully them, but it also gives them more accurate. So that's pretty interesting.
It's true. I'm just looking to get that accurate 3. I might never leave my drop zone against the Wolves. I don't know if that's a good idea, but accurate 3 fusion guns are a hell of a drug.
What are the archetypes for the stealth suits?
They're recon and infiltrate. So they're just out there hanging out, marking targets, and waiting.
Yeah, so mark targets.
So there's definitely a version of the stealth suits. So for anyone who doesn't know, the stealth suits' core ability is if they are more than 3 inches away from their opponent on conceal, they're not invisible, which is a humongous rule break. And, as one of your ploys, you can go Shroud as a tactical firefight ploy and just flip back to conceal. So as a 3 APL operative, you can cruise around, drop a shot, disappear back into obscurity, and force your opponent to engage. And then when they do, you've got vectored retro thrusters, which is a 3-inch dashback at the end of your opponent's activation or action. And then you can also do, with your designator, you can have someone within 8 inches of an opponent take a dash action when they go to activate. So if you set up the maze, you can have all of your stealth suits at the midline that are basically an 11-inch threat because they can fly forward 6 inches, dash, and then shoot. And if your opponents get the initiative and they charge, you can just dash back 3 inches twice, which basically means that the first 2 charges should do nothing, theoretically. And, 12 wounds, 3-up save, they're reasonably tanky as far as Tau go. It's just they hit on 4s, and hitting on 4s accurate 2 balanced is still fine. And you only get that balance against expended operatives with your strat gambit or strat ploy.
Yeah, I think the other thing too with their faction rule at the stealth fields is they can fall back for 1 less AP when they are on conceal. So you can get out of the hostage situations that teams might put you in. Like a horde team might just charge a bunch of dudes into you to lock you down, but you can fall back, shoot them. Or I guess you're on a conceal order, so you can't fall back and shoot them, but you can get away, which is pretty nice, especially then that's another like thematic thing that works with them pretty cool. Yeah, I think they're just the hitting on 4s thing is just going to be rough, even having accurate 2.
Yeah, so for the 2 weapon profiles, you get a fusion gun, which is 4 on 4s, 6-3, mortal wounds 4, pierce 2, which is obviously the good profile. Everybody wants, but you're allowed 2 of them. And then the other profile is going to be your burst cannon, 5 on 4s, 3-4, ceaseless, which is fine. You can get it up to accurate 2 because the other faction ability, because you get 2 of them, is Stealth Fields and Kauyon. Kauyon is the art of the patient hunter for the Tau, so they wait in ambush. So if your opponent's at the midline, you get accurate 1. If they're within 3 inches on your half, they get, I think within 6 inches of your drop zone, you get accurate 2. And then within 3 inches of your drop zone, you get accurate 3.
Yeah.
Which can get boosted by your leader. So if 2 of your stealth suits have died, your leader boosts that accurate by 1, as long as you're already getting accurate. So there's a fair shot that if you can keep enough operatives alive, play the bait game, at the end of the game, every single gun is accurate 3, and then, it doesn't really matter what your opponent has, because a fusion gun pops out within 8 inches or within 6 inches, deletes the guy guaranteed. Because that accurate 3 at the middle end of the game, it is removing an operative pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah, absolutely cooking, dudes. Some of the other stuff that is really cool is what I think it's equipment so they've got a couple things. One of them is essentially you are obscured if enemies are outside of 6 inches. I forgot if that's equipment or if that's a ploy.
It's an equipment, no obscurity.
It's an equipment. And then the other one is essentially ignore obscuring, but you can't retain crits. But you ignore the penalty of discarding a die for your shooting attacks, which is the main thing that kind of makes them feel like incursors. I mean, it's you can just like stand out in the open and with the stealth fields, essentially be always obscured and ignore obscuring shooting back, which is pretty nifty.
Yeah, and then also the hardware target locks, giving you the ability to counteract even though you have a conceal. You have to be more than 3 inches away, but before you counteract, you can flip to engage, and the only action you can take is a shoot. So kind of a cool way, like Astartes-esque way, and kind of Wolves, similar thing where Wolves can flip and then shoot. You do have equipment that does let you do that. And I believe there isn't a restriction on however many dice you can do it. It just says whenever you would counteract. So you can multiple times flip to engage and shoot on counteract, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the more... You can like trade people against mid-range teams because your counteract is really going to carry a lot of weight, especially if you can set up a fusion gun and that will kill someone, counteract, kill someone else again, and like get away with all that, which is pretty huge. And then against elites, you've got 2 fusion guns. You just have to be really, really careful and on point with how you use them, because if each of them can get a double kill, you just win that game. But that is like not easy.
Yeah, luckily you've got smoke on demand with your chaff generator. He always can chaff himself, but anyone within 3 inches of him can also get chaffed, and that's basically just the smoke effect, like a full-on smoke, and that's pretty nice. You've got your extra CP gain, so your homing beacon just gives you 4 CP floor over the course of the game, because it's as long as it's in your kill zone, and your operative has the marker. It's in the kill zone, so you always get the 1. And if you drop it off closer to your opponent, you can get 3, I think, or like 2, up to 2, because you roll extra dice for how close it is to your opponent's drop zone. And if your opponent ever comes up to it and touches it, it blows up. But that means that you can bait your opponent. And not only do you have that, you've also got the ambush ploy, which is keyed off on all your marker lights, which grants you severe. So if accurate 3 wasn't enough on your fusion guns, you can have accurate 3 and severe, guaranteeing you at least 4 damage.
And that ties in with, I mean, one of the things that we totally haven't talked about at all is you can place a token to give full seek on just like a little area of effect.
Yeah, so there's a strat gambit, which is probably going to be a big part of the team functioning, which is called ambush. You place the token, and anyone within 2 inches of it, whenever you choose to shoot, you can grant all of your weapons seek for that shot. And you can't place it within control range or within 2 inches of your opponents, but you can certainly place it on the center objective if you've already got a dude there and your opponent doesn't want to fight with you. And suddenly that's why it becomes very much a no-go zone. Or any hot corridors, or anywhere where you want to, plant a beacon or get a kill, or, you shoot someone, they die, steal intelligence pops up, you put an ambush marker on your opponent, you're like, I'll go there later. So there's a lot of different game plans. Recon and infiltration certainly lend you to, maybe a cager game plan where you just sit in the back, mark enemy movements, and wait for your opponent. I don't know if that's good, but you really want your opponent to come into your half anyway, so maybe it's fine.
Yeah, and then kind of with all that stuff, you throw in the hollow-wave countermeasures. So that gives whenever you're being shot at, if the operative is more than 6 inches from you in the roll attack dice step, the attacker must discard 1 normal success or a crit if there are no normals. So kind of gives you like a pseudo-obscured. It doesn't stack with obscurity, but it is like a mini obscured at all times you're getting shot at. So if you do flip, you do take a shot at somebody, they shoot back, you're taking away one of their hits. And against some teams that can be pretty devastating, with teams that don't have access to rerolls and stuff like that. So kind of a cool little ability that also works with all of the other equipment and strategies that they have.
Yeah. I mean, the team, I'm very excited to play them. I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to play them, with the release timing and all the other stuff. Obviously, they've got a lot of tricks. Maybe they won't do so well if there's a ton of horde teams, but I can't really imagine elves giving them too much of an issue, just because you're never going to get shot by a shuriken pistol and die in one step. And if they charge you, if you're playing your ranges right, you're almost always going to be able to get out of the first 2 charges. And unless they're really sending all 8 guys up front, which maybe is the play against stealth suits, because I've got 5 guys who can shoot. Maybe 6 if you're counting the gun drone, which, 4-on-4s, 4-5 ceaseless, not really the most powerful profile. It's not bad against elves, but if an elf player sends 2 threats, those first 2 threats are never going to get a kill. And then you just swing out with your 9-inch movement and start tapping people on the edges. Maybe it's fine. I don't know if it's fine, but that's kind of where my head's at.
Yeah, I think between the 2 teams, for me, being a simple man, the wolves work great because you just want to go kill stuff. But I think the stealth suits will really play well into people who want that more strategic, thinking about every little move kind of play. And I think there are people who will really maximize the team, but it's going to take a lot of brain power. I think it's like you were talking about, you just have to be really careful with your distances and making sure that the charges can't just be right on you. And then even if they do charge, that 3 inches that you fall back protects you from, because I believe the way it works is they can continue to move the remainder of their move afterwards.
So there's 2 charge dodges. There's one from the designator, which is someone within 8 inches starts an activation, you get a dash. That one you could definitely run into issues. The vectored retro thrusters, which is the command point ability firefight, that one is your opponent ends an action, and then you take a 3-inch dash or charge, or dash or fallback, and then they use whatever move distance is left over. So that's a guaranteed failed charge every turn. So as long as you're not getting charged 3 times a turn, you should be fine. But how hard could that be? Not getting charged 3 times in a turn. How many teams want to charge 5 times in a turn? There's only, Goremongers, Gellerpox, Phobos, Mandrakes, Blades of Cain, just a smattering of teams that everyone has played against, 4, 5, 7, 12 times in a tournament.
Yeah, I just kind of the counter art, like it's funny because we're talking about the scouts and goremongers have a very hard time into the scouts, but then you look at goremongers maybe in the stealth suits, it could get bad for the stealth suits, I feel like. But I don't play goremongers very much. I just don't like playing against them, but I think they could do well. I don't know. I mean, like I said, the stealth suits I think have a lot of juice in there, but you really have to like really pull it out of them. But I think it's there.
You actually probably want to shoot, charge, fight as the stealth suits against goremongers, because you shoot them down to 2 HP and then you're just 3-4 fists being reduced to 2, you'll still kill them.
As long as you hit them, which is no guarantee on 2 attacks on 4s. Or, because it's a minimum of 2 now, which is good, because it wasn't always a minimum of 2. So as long as your first shooting action takes the goremongers all the way down to 3-4, or all the way down to 2 wounds, it's fine. Yeah, how bad could it be? It's not good, guys. I don't like it.
Yeah, I am going to definitely give the stealth suits a fair amount of play. The wolves have a special spot, but I think the stealth suits, it'll just be a fun team, like just different way to play that haven't done before. So that kind of makes me just to expand my gameplay ability, just to try different stuff out. I think they're a fun team to give that chance to.
Yeah, they look really fun. I mean, like, it really looks like it'll scratch the itches running all in cursors. But it's just like intentionally that team.
Everybody get your Black Sun filters. It's time to shoot through obscurity and not lose all your dice. Overall, very excited. I think the pair of teams are really cool. I have no idea about the narrative stuff, which is kind of a bummer, but also it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, excited about this box.
I think it's easy to forget how many people will never play at an LGS and just play at home, and something like this narrative box would be a huge hit for them. People who just, that's all they do, tabletop kill team, and they now have a cool way to like run a narrative, maybe expand their play group or whatever. So I'm excited that they're offering something like this. It's not something I would enjoy because I like the competitive side of the game, but it's cool to see. Some of the last terrain sets are really cool, but I've never used them. So, something that people is pretty easy for everyone to take advantage of. So,
all right, last words on the pair of teams. Where are we going to hot take? How fun is it going to be to play against each team?
I think people are really going to hate the Wolf Scouts because they have a lot of cool stuff, and I think they could easily be oppressive for a lot of teams. I think the Stealth Suits are just going to be an all-around good time. I don't think you'll feel bad playing into them, and I don't think you'll feel bad playing them. But I will argue every day that the Wolf Scouts are beautiful and have done nothing wrong, and you shouldn't be mean to them.
I think the Wolf Scouts, people are definitely going to be mad at them. All the charging from conceal and then the melee shenanigans, that's going to catch people by surprise and hurt their feelings. And then the Stealth Suits people, I think there's going to be people are like, oh, it's not that bad because you just kill them, but then you come across an absolute sorcerer that ruins all of your plans and you can't do anything fun, and then that's going to be not fun to play against, but that's going to be super uncommon.
Yeah, I'm expecting the Wolf Scouts to incur a lot of wrath. Just, -1 attack dice is going to suck a lot. The Storm is going to be a little bit too easy to use. And then for the Stealth Suits, they'll be fine. They'll maybe be annoying if your opponent is good at playing around your charge ranges, but that's a challenge between you and your opponents and how far back they want to play. But maybe mark enemy movements is totally fine if you're just going to sit in the back and wait for your opponent to come to you. Time will tell. Anyways, Jason, I think you got something to say?
No, I think that's pretty much it. So, as always, thank you, listeners, for listening until the end. Oh, you guys, I lied to you because now we are jumping into part 2 of this episode, which is live from the Renegade Open that we've been hooting and hollering about for a little while. I did sort of a similar format that I did at the World Champs, interviewing players with 4 questions each. So, here it is, friends. Enjoy. As we're at the Renegade Open, and I'm going to do the 4 questions here to tack on to the end of our other Dead Silence thing that's coming out, that came out already if you're listening to this. So I've got 4 questions, and I'm going to go clockwise from my direction. Question number 1, what is your name and what faction are you playing?
I am Zeke. I am playing Wreck-A Crew.
Rekka Crew, the big dogs in the neighborhood. What is the biggest lesson you've learned so far? We are currently 3 games in for anyone that's listening.
I would say for me, the biggest lesson is that the Aquilans drop within 3 inches of the token, not wholly within 3 inches of the token.
Yeah, so they can just surprise you. Did you get Wii U with a Melt-A-Bomb or something?
Exactly that, yeah. Yeah.
Those Melt-A-Bomb rude boys dropping out of the sky and pooping on your plans. Okay, so question number 3. What about Dead Silence are you most excited about?
I actually like that Kill Team is moving towards smaller model counts. I think it's going to make playing within 2 hours while still being pretty strategic a little bit more of a feasible thing to do versus, 2 14 operative teams playing each other. You have to move pretty quick, and it can lead to some sloppier play. So, smaller model count teams.
Yeah, it really does seem like we're trending that way in general with this whole season so far. 4th and final question, who was your most fun opponent so far?
I would say my last opponent, Rob, playing Aquilans, or Quillans, I don't know how to pronounce it. It doesn't really matter that much. But he was a super nice guy, thought-provoking game, very collegial during the game. Yeah, good guy, Rob.
Rob from Chicago. What a dude. Well, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
And moving on to the next contestant on the 4 questions game. What is your name and what is your faction?
I am Brett Bushard, and I'm playing Felgor Ravagers.
We've heard from Brett before. He was on also at the Worlds episode. Felgor Ravagers, so you decided to be the bad guy. The scouts are not cutting it for you, as we heard.
No, absolutely not. I actually gave them away already, so... yeah.
RIP those scouts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned so far across the 3 games we've played?
So I learned that... if you just put everybody on Engage, Space Marines, and you just charge them forward into Felgor, turns out it's pretty good. I had a really tough time with that against, guess who?
Yeah, that is absolutely true. That is one of the things that we experienced. What was that, round 1? That was round 1?
Round 1. I think you had 4 assault intercessors on the 1 point. I did kill one, and then it just fell apart.
Yeah, that was all according to the plan. Okay, what about Dead Silence are you the most excited about?
So I'm super excited about the Wolf Scouts in general, just as a whole. I think they're super cool. I understand a lot of people think they're maybe a little overtuned. Maybe. Either way, I'm very excited to get them and paint them up real nice and actually play an elite team competitively. I haven't done that in forever.
They look like a cool and fun team, and we definitely do got to get some reps and some stats out there before we see if they're too horrible or not, because, they're not that good at shooting.
So true. Yeah, I mean, they're not your normal Space Marine team that's going to be double shooting all the time, so... Charge from Conceal, though. Charge from Conceal is pretty sweet.
Charge from Conceal is very good. But you can't shoot, fight, charge if you charge from Conceal, and that's what you're going to need to do a lot of stuff on. In any case, who was your most fun opponent that you've had so far?
I'm going to say Jack. He was playing Rekka Crew. It was just a very fun game. Obviously, with Rekka Crew just rolling a ton of dice, and unfortunately, they just didn't really go his way, which maybe that's why it was so fun for me. But I think we had a good time overall, and... great guy.
Love to hear it. Well, yeah, thank you.
Hey, thank you.
And now we're moving on to the third of the bunch. What is your name and what faction are you playing?
So I'm Leaf, and I'm playing Blades of Cain.
The Blades of Cain. What is the biggest lesson that you've learned across these last 3 games?
They're just so fragile, and there's so few of them, so it's like, don't do anything early unless you know you're going to be safe.
Don't do anything early unless you know you're going to be safe. That sounds like some Scorpion tech there.
I guess so.
Probably. What about Dead Silence are you most excited about?
So ever since they announced, ever since before they announced Emperor's Children, I've wanted to make up some Emperor's Children. But since I play Kill Team and not big 40K, I was like, well, okay. But now they are the perfect thing to convert Emperor's Children into them. So I'm very excited to build up and paint that.
That would be very exciting. What are you going to use for the Emperor's Children dog?
I'm using a chaotic beast, dinosaur bird from Warcry.
Okay.
It's the right size. It's on the right side base, and I think it's cooler than a wolf.
Well, that sounds very exciting. Who was your most fun opponent so far?
Michael from Chicago. He was playing Sanctifiers. He was having just a really great guy, really considerate, always happy to talk things out, and just, had great energy too.
Well, I'd love to hear it. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, you guys, I've got another one for the 4 questions. We've heard from him before, even probably 5 minutes ago by the amount of time that you'll be listening to this, because this is tacked on to the other half of the Dead Silence episode. What is your name and what faction are you playing?
Hey, it's me, Plub. Pierce, whatever you want to call me, I don't know. You can start calling me the dude, I think. It actually works.
Pierce the dude.
The dude Lubinsky. I'm playing Jaegers.
Jaegers.
It was a last-minute decision. I was bullied into it by Mike because he said, don't be a one-trick elite team pony, and made me feel really bad. But I'm 3-0 right now. First game against Sam was very close. I won by 1 because I was able to grab 5 intel the last round. And he had an injured leader who could not get on the middle point to get 2 on the crit, which was super lucky. And then I played into Blades of Cain, which didn't go well for Blades of Cain. A lot of elves died on their own activation with tough survivalists up, and then Masterful Blade work. And then last game, Rekka Crew, I was able to just set up a bunch of concealed stalwart defense shots. I blew up a wall with my mine guy and then launched a rocket into the room. So I was able to do a lot of fun stuff. All the opponents so far, super awesome, super fun time. Excited for tomorrow.
What from all that is the biggest lesson that you've learned across these 3 games so far?
Don't be afraid. I mean, this is a caveat because I also humble brag. I made it because I got top 16 at Worlds. I don't need to get a golden ticket again. So this weekend I was like, I want to challenge myself and play something different that I normally don't. And I'm glad I did because it's been really fun and it's helped expand my game and understand. Yeah, it's a huge change of pace going from Phobos to this. So don't be afraid to try new stuff. If you maybe don't think a team really fits into you, but you never know.
Try.
Yeah.
Who was your most fun opponent that you've had so far?
Man, that's tough. Alex at the end. He had a great attitude. Not Alex, Matt at the end. Alex was also fun. He had some rough rolls, and elves getting killed in their own activation always kind of stinks. But Matt had a great attitude, and he was playing Rekka Crew, so it's always a fun time playing Rekka Crew. And my 3 dudes survived a blow up. He only killed his squig blew up on 3 guys and only killed 1. So I would be a little more salty than he was. So that was pretty good.
Excellent. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
We got a couple more. Question number 1. What is your name and what faction are you playing?
Hey, I'm Roscoe. I'm playing some Rattlings.
Rattlings. I think you're the only Rattlings player here. Is that true?
Yes.
Awesome. What's the biggest lesson you've learned across the last 3 games we've played?
I played Aquilans twice. First time, it was just like, I played really far back. Second time, it was Tomb World. I was like, oh, I can go up a little further. And that is not the case. I got jumped on 2 inches, and all my Bogrins got melta-bombed.
Yeah, that'll do it. So did you do better on the first one?
Yeah, I did slightly better on the first one. I think it's just as open, so I was able to get some better sightlines than Rattlings, but yeah, kind of fell off in the second game.
Yeah. Okay, so what about Dead Silence is what you're most excited about?
I think the Tau. I think it'll be fun to see how people like figure them out. Yeah, the stealth suits.
Cool.
Yeah, they look awesome.
And who was your most fun opponent?
I'd say my first opponent, Taylor. He's playing Battleclade. That's pretty fun. He was really good at the new Sphere counteracts. It was fun to. It was a lot of out of activation kind of stuff, and that was really enjoyable.
Those Battleclade sure are up to some shenanigans. Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Contestant number 2 from the bunch. What is your name and what faction are you playing?
My name is Spencer, and I play Exaction.
Exaction Squad. Exacting the Emperor's justice, probably. What is the biggest lesson you've learned so far across these last 3 games?
Well, I played my first game against Mandrakes, and I realized that I got to watch out for 10-inch movements and some blasts, so yeah.
They're a very fast, very blasty team, that's true. You said that was your first time against them?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's pretty savage. Okay, question number 3. What about Dead Silence is the most exciting part for you?
I think the Tau just looks sweet, so they're definitely something I might try and pick up once they come out as solo boxes, but I do like the flavor of the Space Wolves.
Yeah, both of these teams do look very cool. Final question, who was your most fun opponent?
I gotta say it was Brian. We played on Beta Decima for the first time. It's a little rough for the Raveners, not being able to like do their tunnel all that well, but we've already got a game set up like next week or whatever, so it was a lot of fun.
I didn't even think about the tunnel on Beta Decima. Is it like, can you tunnel through the hazard at all, or do you have to go around it, or can you clip it, or
we just played like you go straight through it. We didn't really know, but I figured it was literally impossible for him to play the game if you couldn't. So, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, shout out to Brian. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
What is your name and what faction are you playing?
JAKTP152. I'm playing Mandrakes.
Mandrakes. Are you the only Mandrakes player here?
I think I may be.
so.
Yeah.
Well, that's a fun one. We've chatted about Mandrakes a few times before in the past. What is the biggest lesson you've learned across these last 3 games so far?
Get better at picking tacks correctly.
Tac ops. What did you try that didn't work so well?
I tried, the last game we played was energy cells. And so I thought I was going to go big brain and do, plant devices. And I was thinking, if you have to pick the objective off, then I'm going to score points. It's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. And I got 1 point off of it. I happened to play the exaction player. So
Was it open or was it Tomb World?
It was Vulcus.
Focus.
Yeah. So it wasn't I thought I was going to end last activation, pop in with my last warrior via a shadow passage, and then win the roll, and then just plant immediately. But he aggressively stayed his Nuncio Aquila, and I couldn't get in and do the thing I wanted to do because that just was too disruptive to me. And so, I happened to be the guy who blasted him, and so he was a scholar and gentleman. Very. I've had games like that where you just can't roll well and you're just getting crushed. And he was such a good sport, and it's hard, So, but it was obviously, it's always a delight when you get to blast 2 inches on people. So.
That's true. Blast 2 is pretty potent. Who was your most fun opponent you've had so far?
So I played the narrative last night, and Sam on Aquilons was a lot of fun to play. Had not played Mandrakes for Aquilons before, and so it was a lot of surprises for both of us. But it was a lot of fun because there was a lot of wacky stuff going on with, being moved across the board. It's Escape from Galadark kind of a scenario. So I'd never done narrative. It was a lot of fun, so I recommend it to people to at least give it a shot. It definitely mixes things up.
Agreed, yeah. And that Escape from the Galadark that Lee's been doing, I think this is either the 2nd or the 3rd year he's done it, and it is super fun. But yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
We've got another contestant for the 4 questions and another familiar voice that you've heard earlier on this very episode. Question number 1, what is your name and what faction are you playing?
My name is Travis, and I'm playing Rekka Crew, not Stealth Suits.
He's not playing Stealth Suits because they're illegal this weekend, so he's playing Rekka Crew to get used to all this ignore obscuring shooting, which is definitely going to be happening.
That's true. I have nuked some people through obscurity. Chucked a relentless rocket rack at a poor little sanctifier and nuked the plasma out of existence. Turns out 5 hits is enough hits.
Did you get any 3-inch blasts that were super meaningful?
Got a couple frag grenades. That was pretty good.
3-inch frags are huge. Yeah. What's the biggest lesson you've learned across these last 3 games we've played so far?
The Crusher Boy with his piston fists can really get into some gnarly things against the smaller size teams because you can keep going, log yourself into more melee, and then follow up.
Yeah, so that's the guy that every time you strike, you can push someone 1 inch. So are you saying you pushed someone and then followed them until you got into more melees? Did you tag an expended operative or something?
Yes.
There's some spice in that meatball. Okay, question number 3. What about Dead Silence are you most excited about?
Well, obviously, you've heard me talk about Dead Silence at this point, and by Dead Silence we mean Stealth Suits, because I'm just going to sit in the back, bait my opponent into coming into the board, and then we'll see if Accurate 3 Melt-A-Guns with Severe is good or bad.
At this point, we have done a battle report, which is probably, I don't know what's going to come up first, probably this and then the battle report later. But we did our first ever in-person game, which was Stealth Suits versus Goremongers. So first of all, throw in your comments how you think that went. Then you can watch the battle report later. LOL. Last question, who was your most fun opponent?
Michael was a great opponent at the end. We made a big oopsie, or I made a big oopsie because I was on Stealth Suit Brain, and we were able to rewind a fair number of the games so that we could have a full game. So we played a game and a half, which was kind of fun in a tournament setting. And then my Crusher Boy still found a way into a far side, bonked his opponent, bonked his model, so that I could line up a secondary blast explosion. So that was rough.
Punching dudes into the blast is some extra spice. Sounds like you're getting a lot of mileage out of that. Sweet. Well, thanks for answering the questions.
All right. Well, hopefully everyone had a good time. Renegade Open's pretty cool. And thanks, guys.
Thank you. You guys, we've got a couple of more here. I've got 4 questions for each of these fine fellows here. Question number 1, what is your name and what faction are you playing?
Jack Garrison. I'm playing Rekka Crew.
He's playing Rekka Crew. What is the biggest lesson you've learned across the last 3 games we've played so far?
I'm newer to this edition, so I've just learned that sacrificing guys is not the thing to do. I'm throwing at later turns stuff to the wind, and that's just you lose. I have to be more cagey.
You don't gotta be more cagey. What are you talking about? I don't believe that at all.
Well, not when you're Jason.
Okay, Dead Silence is coming up soon. What about it is the most exciting to you?
Oh, the stealth suits.
The stealth suits.
100%. I know I've heard the wolf guys are super powerful, but the stealth suits are so cool.
They do look very cool.
I really want them. So
they look super fun too. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very excited about both of these teams.
The Wolf Scouts, I just don't like Scouts, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Fourth question, who was your most fun opponent?
I played Raveners. I really liked them, and purely because their models are cool. I liked here's my giant guy against your giant guy, and we're going to see how it goes. And even though he would just nuke me coming out of the tunnel, I still loved it.
Just a big old smacky boy time.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for these questions. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Moving right along. What is your name and what faction are you playing?
Mike Kim. I'm playing Gorkifiers, but they are Sanctifiers proxied as goblins.
Gorkifiers. I love that. What is the biggest lesson that you've learned across these last 3 games?
The biggest lessons is confirming threat ranges and then making sure your equipment you're bringing is to your best advantage.
Okay, so confirming threat range is huge. So the equipment sounds like a story. Did you take something that felt useless?
I took not enough terrain when I played against Travis. And Rekka's in Tomb World. When rolls go well for him, that is goodbye whatever you're getting hit.
It really steamrolls. Okay, so what about Dead Silence are you most excited about?
I think just new teams in general. I think Stealth Suit has a very cool design. Despite Wolf Scouts looking very strong, I think it's an interesting take on Elites to have some kind of circle. Maybe it's just a repeat of Sanctifiers in a 6-inch bubble, but I think it's a cool way to make it into Elites.
Yeah, they look super fun. Fourth and final question, who is your most fun opponent?
Even though I lost tremendously to Travis, he was a very fun game. Even though we had a big of a mix-up on his end, we just kind of took it, went back, and it's really good to just play with a gracious opponent both ways, and you make it fun even though there's a huge point discrepancy.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, I'm glad to hear that, and thanks for coming on.
Yep, thank you.
Sorry, yeah.
We've got another one. What is your name and what faction are you playing?
I'm Taylor. I'm playing Battleclade.
Battleclade. What is the biggest lesson you've learned across these last 3 games so far?
I need to play better. I'm getting kicked around here pretty bad. So I think there's a lot of lessons I am learning, but they're a lot more kind of more background things. I'm not like direct, like I need to do this. It's more of like just getting to understand the team better and how they work and trying to how to set up some of their operatives to function a little bit more effectively.
Yeah, you got to chain and combo those guys, and it's a super giga big brain stuff that probably takes a bajillion reps. Okay, so when it comes to Dead Silence, what are you most excited about?
I'm probably not going to pick up either of the teams, but I really want to see those stealth suits painted. I've seen some really pretty ones already, and I want to see more.
Agreed. Some huge hobby potential there. Fourth and final question, who is your most fun opponent?
I feel bad. I don't remember his name, but round 1, I was into Ratlings, and I think I'd only faced them once before, and I really enjoyed it. It was a good time.
Well, I love to hear it. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
We are walking. I know, all I did was run forward. How am I already so frazzled, brain? Anyways, we've got another one for 4 questions. Question number 1, what is your name and what faction are you playing?
I'm Blaine, and I'm playing Chaos Cult.
Chaos Cult. Question number 2, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned so far across the 3 games that we've played?
A 1 health torment can still almost kill a Marine.
Yeah, that was bananas. For a tiny bit of a story there, I shot one of his torments down to 1 HP, and then you missiled me for 13 damage and died.
Sure did, but it was great while it lasted.
Yeah, that's huge. That's crazy tech there. So basically, any old goober can just cook whoever you come across, and that is just my hot tech for Chaos Cult. Question number 3, what about Dead Silence are you most excited about?
Potential nerfs to Wolf Scouts in like 2 months.
What a glorious time that will be. If you were going to nerf them, what would you do to them?
Reduce the range of the storm, and that's probably it.
Yeah, that sounds valid and fair.
Yep.
Fourth and final question, who was your most fun opponent?
Probably you. Yeah, it was just a slaughter. I think we had how many models at the end of turn 2 left on the board?
I feel like it was like 4 or 5.
I think you had 2 Marines left at the end of turn 2, and I had like maybe 3 dudes or 4 dudes left at the end. Yeah, so like six dudes.
Absolute bloodbath. That was super fun.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Sweet. Well, thanks for coming on.
Hey, no problem.
Another contestant for the 4 questions game. At this point, it is day 2 of Renegade. Game 1 is done. It's the lunch break. So 4 games complete. Question number 1, what is your name and what faction are you playing?
Hi, my name is Benjamin Bowe, and I'm playing Death Watch today.
Death Watch. How much death have you been watching?
I've seen gunships going down at the gates of Tannhauser. I've seen many deaths I've watched many deaths. I have been watched being deathed. And, it's really all going according to plan, though.
What a busy time to be a Death Watcher. What is the biggest lesson you've learned across the 4 games we've played so far?
I think that you got to come in with the right attitude. You have to remind yourself you're here to have fun. Sometimes the dice are not going to do what you want them to.
Especially with Death Watch.
Sometimes I do think that Death Watch are vulnerable to that. I think it's one of those things where I personally do not think they're overpowered, but I think that there's going to be like a lot of teams when you get smacked by Death Watch, it feels bad. And you remember it, and so you go around saying Death Watch is broken; they need to be nerfed, and it's just no, you lost the lottery on that. But they are very fun. I don't think they're very fun. Shooting a big gun is always fun. It's huge. So it's fun. There's even the Bombard, who I personally don't think is very good in not taking him to Bombard today, but it's just a fun gun to shoot in a casual game because 5.7, boom boom.
Looks cool. Also, if you put a blast profile on the 5.7 version of it and you ever catch anyone in it, they're absolutely cooked.
That would be fun. No one's opened that up for me yet. I mean, he has Torrent too, but Torrent, very frustrating on a lot of occasions. But so it's a very, very fun team. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do. There's a lot of units that honestly are kind of niche. If is my opinion, like the Demolisher with the hammer, you get that charge off, you just dusted God. You just wiped him off. He's like, oh, I'm out. I've done enough. But if you don't get that charge off and you're retaliating, and I've had a game against a team recently that shuts off shock and stun and lowers so if you're talking about the Demolisher and you don't get the charge off and you're sitting in a storm of, I don't know, any team that might have a storm, you lose shock, you lose stun, you can't even injure him, and he's down to 4. He's still 6-7 damage profile, but it's just suddenly like, oh, this is a very killable. I mean, losing shot is very killable. Anyway,
on that note,
yes.
What about Dead Silence are you the most excited about?
Well, I love Death Watch, and to me, this does feel like a good transition. I can't call myself new, but I'm new-ish. I'm about a year into Kill Team, so not new, but enough that I'm still learning a lot of basics. So to go from Death Watch, where I've not been winning a ton today. I mean, as you know, I sometimes throw a game just to throw people off, so they don't know what power. You don't let them. You don't want to reveal your power level too early. But it'll I think play in a lot of ways similar to Death Watch, but with a dog and some tricks. Death Watch is very, very honest. They're very, very honest. And this will, I think, like I said, be similar, but also being able to post up on guard on silent. Full silent. I take that shot and I'm still in conceal.
Pretty good.
Is wild. And I think there's some I want to tandem him up with the Mind Guy. I feel like there's 2 ways to play it. There's a very aggressive way, and there's a way where you just post up. I know that a lot of people are not taking the Haywire Mine, but I do think there's a place where, depending on the map and so forth, or you get a mine on.
You definitely want to be open to either way and read the map.
You have to read the map.
If you read it correctly ahead of time, it's going to be huge. Which is
I also think the charge on the wolf in the strat phase. I have lately really come to realize the power of some of these strat phase things. Yesterday I had a game against Nemclaw, and I've played Nemclaw a couple times, and he explains stuff to me, but you don't track every single. Okay, yeah, blah 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 blah. I was playing a little bit cagey. It was energy cells. So he snuck across late in the, and I was like, okay, now I'm going to burst on this guy. He's on Tomb World energy cells. He comes across onto the, and he picks up the objective. No problem, because I win initiative, and I'm about to dust him, right? Then I get that objective back and everything. Oh, but it turns out he's got a ploy that he can actually just, in the strategy phase, go back into darkness and just leave, yoink back with it. So anything you can do in the strat phase, and I've seen like with a long oval base. Sorry, this is too long for you. I mean, I'm fascinating. People are going to want to hear this. They're going to want it when you've got someone with some charisma. You know, I'm a live wire. You know, but be able to stick that oval base into maybe a bunch of guys. I think that people,
the best multi-charge tool in the game.
People that are just using it as just a damage piece, sure, 5. I mean, it is, but like I love Battleclade. You lock up like 2 or 3 guys. I mean, what? So they got 2 AP. They can. I mean, Battleclade's got some tricks, but it just
multi-charge. There's gonna be a fight because if someone else falls back, you can still fight the other thing.
Yeah, and so you just, but also just locking up. You lock up like 2 or 3 if you're lucky. 2 servitors. You lock up 2 servitors. They can fall back. You can later counteract to it, but it's just very, to me, it's very, very powerful. And it's a way to switch. Your opponent thinks that they've got you. They got it set up, and then you pull the whammy card. Yeah, what's a 12-inch charge? 10-inch charge. Still.
Yeah, it's very huge.
That's a lot of what I'm thinking about.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a very exciting box. My 4th and final question: who is your most fun opponent so far?
Oh man, that's the worst question. They can't all be. It's a coward would say they're all the most fun opponent. Definitely when you see someone like I played against Sam Westlake a bunch of times, you get to see like the best part of this. You hang out with your friends and you play some games, right? And Sam and I actually, previous to this, he plays Aquilons, and I had beat him with Deathwatch at a previous game. He managed to absolutely dust me
because he got that experience from the prior.
Yeah. I showed. See, this is where you show your power level too early, and then it is what it is. You gotta be like, I should have kept a little in the tank.
It sounds like he learned a lot from that last game.
He sure did, which is what I don't like about Sam. But I'll try not to get too bitter about it. So that was fun, only just because like I kind of know. I played a bunch of games against Sam, but all of my opponents were great. So.
Love to hear it. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, sir. And it's live from the Jacked Pod. Back to you.
We've got another contestant on the 4 questions game. Question number 1, what is your name and what faction are you playing?
My name is Mike and I'm playing Inquisitorial Agents.
Inquisitorial Agents. He's Uno reverse carding his way through this whole tournament. Question number 2, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned so far across the 4 games we've played?
Plant Devices is really bad into aggressive Angels of Death.
Well, that was like almost the least aggressive game that I've ever had. But yeah, so I mean, what would you have taken instead?
Realistically, knowing you, right? I should have known that there's going to be a lot of engaged targets real close to me to be valid targets within 6 for, was it Track Enemy?
Yeah, Track Enemy, that's the one, it's a recon, is it?
It's the one that's...
It's the infiltration one.
Infiltration one, yeah. It's not a mission action. It's just valid target within 6. You score a point. And there was a shit ton of valid targets within 6 that...
Only if you give them to me, because I was going to lurk on turn 2. But anyways, question number 3, Dead Silence just around the corner. It's actually out now. First of all, did you get one? Are you excited about it? Are you going to get one or no?
I do have one. I went and picked it up last night. I am very excited to play stealth suits. Get away from Inquisitorial Agents. My brain melts every time I play them. There's 500 abilities, 500 operatives. Switching to 7 operatives sounds a little nice.
Are you going to switch to stealth suits for the League?
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
That's going to be a spicy meatball. What is the coolest tool in the toolbox for the stealth suits?
I think low-key sleeper option is the electrostatic chaff, the pop a smoke on yourself. Let people give them a target. Give them a target they want. It looks juicy. It looks nice. They want to kill them. Guess what? I'm obscured. No piercing for you, buddy.
Electro Chaff is maybe one of my favorite things that's ever happened to this game. All of their tech is the coolest thing I've ever seen, and I love it. I'm really excited about this team also.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be sweet. And it's nice to see a release team that nobody complained about the second they saw it. You know what I mean?
That's true, yeah. Fourth and final question, who is your most fun opponent that you've had so far?
Ooh. I'm going to say I liked playing against Alex. That was a fun game, the one we just played. So, yeah, a little back and forth banter, a little yapping in the middle of the game.
Mid-game, yeah. Sweet, well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We have another contender on the 4 questions game. Question number 1, what is your name and what faction are you playing?
I'm Rob Poirier, and I'm playing Tempestus Aquilons.
Tempestus Aquilons, and we're 5 games in, and he hasn't lost anything yet. So they are coming in hot. They're dropping on everybody and shooting everybody to pieces. What's the biggest lesson you've learned so far across these last 5 games?
Yeah, it sounds trite, but just read all of your ploys after every game and keep that in mind. There's a couple ploys that Aquilons don't use all that often, but have been literal game winners. So, Secure Drop in particular was a clutch one in the last game. So, just reread your rules.
Better control for that one?
Yeah. Better control and an extra die can make getting them off in melee really hard, and can make sure if you're one-on-one on an objective on turning point 4, you're the one that can do the mission.
That's huge. Question number 3, Dead Silence is out now. Are you planning to get one? Already have one? Or are you going to skip this one?
Yeah, I'm splitting it and getting the stealth suits because Tower are awesome, and I think they're going to be a fun hobby project. I wasn't really too interested in the Wolf Scouts, but I think I'm going to do a White Scars Kit Bash for them. I think that's a great fit for them.
I think that is a great fit for them. What are you going to do for the wolf?
Yeah, good question. I was considering. Yeah, it could be a wolf on a motorcycle. I was thinking like a flock of birds, or really, I'm looking up references for a bunch of like steppe dog breeds to see different color schemes for them that I think will differentiate from your normal space wolf.
Well, I think that sounds super fun. So you said you're splitting for the stealth suits. Are you going to play them, or mostly excited for the hobby for them?
I'll give them a shot. I'm pretty on the fence about them, but they've got a lot of tricks. So we'll see. They're probably not going to be my primary faction, but I might give them a few games.
They do look very fun. Fourth and final question, who is your favorite opponent you played so far?
Look, I mean, the Midwest rocks. Great games against all my opponents, but shout-outs to Brian and Roscoe in particular, a couple of brothers I played in the first couple rounds. So sorry to your family for having to take a couple wins at the beginning, but great opponents. Got to play Rattlings for the first time, so hope to see him again. Yeah.
Huge. Sweet. Well, thanks for coming on.
Of course.
We got a couple more. Question number 1, what is your name and what faction are you playing?
Alex B. I'm playing Blades of Cain.
Alex B. for Blades of Cain. That's a true story. What's the biggest lesson that you've learned across the last 5 games we've played at this point?
I've learned that the secret hardest thing about Blades of Cain is tac op selection.
That is 100% true. And what about operative selection? I feel like that's a tough one. Has that been going well?
It can be tough, but actually I think tac ops is much more important.
I believe that.
They're all pretty equivalent, honestly.
Is there a tac op that is shaping up to be your favorite or your least favorite?
Least favorite, this might be a hot take, but it's flank because I find it hard to score while staying alive.
That's super valid because they're squishy boys, that lot. Question number 3, are you excited about Dead Silence? Are you planning to get it? And what's your favorite part about it?
I just got a hold of the Wolf Scouts, so yeah, I'm interested to see how they go. I haven't painted a Space Wolf for 25 years.
Well, that should be super fun. Fourth and final question, who was your most fun opponent so far?
I would say Mike with his Inquisition was their most fun, despite my crushing loss.
He said the same about you.
Oh, nice. Isn't that nice?
Beautiful. Well, thanks for coming on.
You're welcome.
We've got another contender here. Question number 1, what is your name and what faction you're playing?
Yeah, I'm Sam Westlake, and I'm playing Tempestus Aquilons.
Tempestus Aquilons. How are they treating you so far?
I really like them. I like the surprise mechanics and general dice reliability.
They just swoop and shoot, and it's pretty awesome.
It's pretty sweet, yeah. Pretty killy, too, when you need them to be.
That's very true. They've got all the sources of piercing, too, and yeah, they cook. Across the last 5 games we played so far, what is the biggest lesson you've learned?
You can't be like a one-trick pony in this game. Like, when opponents learn how to screen out your drop tokens with Aquilons, you have to come up with new ways of staging and be more creative with it, and that's kind of the thing I'm developing over this weekend.
That makes a lot of sense. When it comes to Dead Silence, are you excited about it, planning to pick anything up? What's your favorite part about it?
Yeah, I'm actually getting both halves of it. Both teams kind of stand out to me. I hate getting charged, though, so I'm a little more excited about the stealth suits than I am about the Wolf Scouts.
I've been surprised with the internet's hype about the Wolf Scouts. Pretty much everyone here has been saying stealth suits look like their cup of tea. So that is very exciting. I'm kind of on that train too. Fourth and final question: who has been your most fun opponent so far?
I think Roscoe I played yesterday with Ratlings. We just had a really good, fun, like kind of horde matchup on Tomb World, and it ended up being really close between us. So really, really fun game and really great opponent.
Well, I love to hear that. Shout out to Roscoe. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Couple more here. Question number 1: what is your name and what faction are you playing?
I'm Matt Wildung. I'm playing Rekka Crew.
Rekka Crew. He's in the horde of Rekka Crews out here wrecking everybody's crews. Have you had any mirror matches?
No, not yet. I'm pretty lucky. So.
Oh, and do you know that you're going to get the mirror in the last one?
I hope so. That would be amazing.
Jeez, there'd be so many sixes rolled that game. Question number 2: what is the biggest lesson that you've learned across these last 5 games so far?
Just stand and smoke, shoot. Yeah, just gotta believe.
Yeah, that's a very orky thing to do. Okay, so stand in the smoke and believe. I love that. Okay, so question number 3: are you excited about Dead Silence? And if so, which half do you like more?
Yeah, Dead Silence looks awesome. Space Wolves look cool. I'm sorry, Stealth Suits, you look kind of lame. But.
Finally, someone for the Space Wolves. Jeez, we had a lot of Stealth Suit fans around here. No, it's been pretty close. What is your favorite thing about the Space Wolves?
Dog. That looks pretty cool. I like dogs.
Dogs are pretty cool dudes. They says woof and doesn't afraid of anything. Question number 4 and the final of the batch: who has been your most fun opponent so far?
Well, we haven't played yet, Jason, but it's you.
No, soon enough.
Gosh, my buddy Joe from Chicago. Yeah, that was my favorite opponent. That was awesome. It was a good game. We were just blowing each other up on Beta Decima. So
I love it. Speaking of which, well, first of all, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
And speaking of which, we do have Joe over here. Question number 1: what is your name? Spoiler alert. And what faction are you playing?
Yeah, my name's Joseph. I'm from Chicagoland area, and I'm rocking some Angels of Death today.
Angels of Death. Yeah. Same. I think we're the only 2 Angels of Death here.
Yeah, you're quite the inspiration, I'll tell you. I was kind of following some of your stuff on Discord, and I'm a little sad because I didn't take more Assault Intercessors. So that's not the biggest lesson from this weekend, but it's a good one.
Assault Intercessors sure are super lit. Of all of the other options, what's your favorite?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to say because
does it feel like a trap? Or are they treating you well?
They're really good. They're fantastic. I've actually enjoyed the Assault Sergeant as well.
Ooh, same.
Yeah, because he's gives you the command points extra for free and allows you to kind of really do some unfair stuff. So that's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. We're just gonna move over a little bit. Across we've played 5 games so far. What is the biggest lesson that you've learned?
Oh man, I had really bad. I have a hard time remembering my strategic ploys, and sometimes I have like my tac ops and things, and it really cost me this last match. I missed out on 9 points because I didn't plant my banner early.
Yeah, that's a rough one. Yeah.
I mean, I got it in the 4th, so I got a couple points out of it, but man, it hurt so bad. I just was kicking myself,
Yeah, that's yikes. Ouch. And question number 3, Dead Silence. Are you planning to pick it up? Have you picked it up already? Are you excited about it? Do you not care?
I actually got a call earlier that my pre-order is ready for pickup, so I'm going to pick it up as soon as I get back home.
Nice. You're picking up both teams, or you're splitting it and keeping half?
I'm going to pick up both teams. Although I'm a little sad because there's just been so many Astartes, and I mean, I'm an Astartes guy. I really enjoy it, but like I've painted so many already. I really I want some variety and flavor. You know what I mean? So
I totally get you there. Between the 2 teams, are you planning to play? Are you more excited to play one than the other?
I'll be honest. When I first saw the stealth suits, I thought it was cool, and then I played against them this weekend on the narrative, and they were a little underwhelming. I was kind of sad. But during the narrative, you had a little extra things so maybe it wasn't fully, kind of the way it was supposed to be. But yeah, I was kind of excited for them at first, and then Space Wolves obviously are gonna.
They look pretty spicy. They look pretty spicy indeed. Sure. And the 4th and final question: who has been your most fun opponent so far?
My God, man. I will say the Record Crew was a lot of fun this weekend. Me and him, I mean, obviously just kind of slinging guns is just super fun, right? So, like, taking rockets to the face, but also taking bolters to the face, like, back and forth. And, man, that's super good. So.
Just laughing your way through a bombastic gunfight.
Yeah, and, it's always like a casino. You never know if he's popping sixes ever, so it kind of makes it tough, So some days I'm like, yeah, he whiffed. And then others, he's just pushing piles of dice. And I'm like, oh, that's
just minimum 12 damage coming in if you get a perfect save. Yeah, right. I feel that. Sweet. Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, man. Hey, I really was hoping to go top 8 this weekend. I kind of missed out. So hopefully I can walk away with a 500 record here, my last, and I'll go home happy. I learned a ton of stuff. So thanks thanks for hosting. And it was great meeting the Minnesota crew.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
We've got another contender on the 4 questions game. Question number 1, what is your name and what faction are you playing?
My name is Will Roberts, and I'm playing Nemesis Claw today.
Nemesis Claw. What is the question number 2? What is the biggest lesson you've learned across the last 5 games we've done so far?
Don't take route.
Don't take route. How many times did you try it?
Twice.
And both times I'm assuming you didn't do that well.
I scored 0 as a sum of 0 on route.
Across both. Ouch. Both. What teams was it against that you tried?
Rekka's and what was the second one? Death Watch.
Yeah, because they both want to push, probably. Maybe it works sometimes, but probably not against those teams.
It sure doesn't work with how I play them.
What would you have changed against those teams?
I would have taken Steel Intelligence.
I think I fully approve of that, and put me on the piece of paper of the list of names of people who approve that.
I took Steel Intelligence for my other 2 games. One game was a bye, and I think I either got 5 or 6 on both of them. So definitely shining by comparison.
Question number 3. Are you excited about Dead Silence?
Not really, honestly. Neither of the teams appeal to me very much. I'm not a big fan of Space Wolves, not a big fan of Scouts. And, Tower, cool, but they're just battle suits. We've seen those before.
And they're not Chaos.
That is obviously my bias. I have a Heart of Chaos. Pretty excited for the Murder Wing. I'll be looking at those whenever that comes around in 4 to 7 months.
10,000 years, maybe.
10,000 years, perhaps.
4th and final question. Who has been your most fun opponent so far?
My most fun opponent so far? I gotta say it's Sam. He is the Aquilon player. Our game was pretty sweaty because it was Aquilons versus Nemesis Claw and Into the Dark, so I passed all but 1 activation for the first 2 turning points.
That sounds like a good way to do it. Did it pan out for you, though?
Oh, yeah, it panned out. I won by 3 points, and all points were scored on the last turning point except for 3. So I scored everything but 3 on the last turning point.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, it worked out. And then, I scored 2 and then the +1 on the kill grade. He scored 0 on kill grade. No Marines died in the making of this game.
Yikes. No Marines were harmed in the making of it, yes.
That will serve those Imperial dogs right.
That's true. Sweet, well, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Jason.
All right, Renegade is completely over. I've dropped all my friends off at the airport. I'm home now. And I'll answer my own 4 questions. My name is Jason, and I was playing Angels of Death. My biggest lesson? Watch out for your opponent's flank tack up. Because if you pay attention to that, you can prevent them from scoring 6. And if you don't, it's pretty easy to let people walk away with 6. Dead Silence. Very excited about it. I ended up picking up some stealth suits as well, which I'm excited to dabble around with. They seem like a very fun and cool team. Who knows if I'll play them at any events, but I'm definitely going to dabble with them. And my most fun opponent is... That's a tough one. I am very pleased to announce I think the sportsmanship at Renegade was S tier from all of my opponents. Everyone was amazing. Super good. I've got to say, special shout out to Rob. He won the whole thing. We were playing at the top table. He played it immaculately. It was super fast, super fun, and just incredible. And that's it for my 4 questions. And as always, thank you listeners for listening until the end. But for real this time.